I would like you to design an app that helps you plan road trips with your friends. Hi everyone, and welcome to another mock interview with Exponent. My name is Nema, and I'm here today with Caleb. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hey guys, my name is Caleb, and I have been a designer for about like 10 years now. So like my journey has started from me just studying back in Hong Kong and moving to Canada and then start working professionally as a designer. So I had been with a couple of startup in early in my career. So like I was working on different products. And then right now I am pretty much focused on freelancing and taking on projects and contracting with startups and also contracting with a couple of like pretty big companies as well. I've been with Amazon, Square, Google a little bit. But yeah, that's been my background. It's always like product designs, designing UI and UX and some front end development as well. So that's what I do right now. Yeah.
That sounds great. It sounds like you've had a lot of experience across the spectrum with big companies and small companies as well.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much big and small. It's pretty
yeah,
different when I'm working with like, big tech. It's always been like focusing on smaller problem, but like for a startup, you're really pretty much like taking on all the hats, like
yeah.
designing stuff from all the way from scratch and just figuring the entire problem, coming with a product flow, and then taking all the way from prototyping to maybe even like high fidelity mockup and then some front end dev work as well. So
Hmm.
you're basically doing a lot of things when I'm working with smaller startup and directly working with the founders. It's really challenging when you are, basically taking a project from like zero to launch. So really like
Yeah.
the fact of, being able to handle all the parts about the project. But yeah, like pretty passionate about that. Always think about how to solve problem with technology nowadays. But yeah.
Yeah, I think you're gonna employ some of those skills that you've picked up at startups with today's question. Um, we're gonna be operating as if I'm asking you this question from the perspective of a startup, and we're doing a product design question today. I would like you to design an app that helps you plan road trips with your friends.
Yeah, definitely. I think like I'm pretty big fan of road trips, so that's such a great kind of like area to get into. And I do personally, come up with a lot of like trip planning myself, but it's been a big challenge because like you normally wouldn't know like where to stop and like your dates and all that stuff. So thinking of this problem is definitely kind of interesting. I guess I can share my screen and then we can
Hmm.
just kind of do something quickly on Figma.
Sounds
Um,
good.
yeah, let me know if you can see my screen.
I can see it.
Okay. So I guess like to define the success of this kind of interview, I guess first of all is like what I would get to. So the end goal, I guess in here is, we don't have all day to work on this, but the end goal is kind of like figuring out the whole flow. So user can go from like the signing to eventually being able to plan the entire trip. So I guess like that would be a success if we can get there.
Hmm.
But yeah, first of all, I think like just to kind of help figuring out what the problem is and like usually like who would be using the app for. And when you mentioned like traveling friends, right? Um, I think there's a different aspect of that as well. Like, do we have to invite people to actually be joining the app too, or there'll be like just one person doing this whole thing? Like, eventually, do we have to share with other people?
Hmm.
But there's a lot of routes that we can go to. But like, first of all, I think like just let's say people knowing about the app and they will go to the app store and download it. So I'm just gonna quickly come up with a flow and see like how we can go there.
Yeah.
So let me try to create something, a component, so we can just kind of do it on the fly here. Let me just kind of grab that and then create the auto layout. Yeah. So 720, 20, so 10. Yeah, so that would be everything like that would be kind of a page, I guess. Um, yeah, so that would be all a page. And so in a sec. Yeah, so the first one is I guess like people coming to the apps and they will be they'll be able to just know what it is, sign up, right? Like a quick, maybe a quick intro screen on what that is. And then after the intro screen, we'll be quickly going to sign up. Like they could, like in this intro screen too, probably they can see like what the, let me think about this. So when they go to the intro screen, I guess like the thing to kind of get them interested is we'll paint a beautiful picture of like, hey, there's no more hustle, right? Like if you use our app, we can definitely help you to plan your trip a lot more effectively without you, doing a lot of Google searches and a lot of like basically just pinging all the hotels and booking all the things, because we can like basically stream all the whole thing. So I guess like that would be what the intro screen is about. I'm not going to write out the details, but like that's what I think the intro screen is about. So if you're hooked, you feel like, oh, that's great, I want to sign up, I want to start using it. So I'll guess like we will basically go to the sign up flow. And then this sign up flow will basically ask you questions about, I guess the sign up flow could be like as quick as possible. It doesn't have to be anything, too detailed. So just give us your name and then your email and your password, I guess, and that will be it. Or you can just sign up with like Google or Facebook as well. Then of course, like if you give us your Google or Facebook, then that will help us to, contact your friend a lot easier than just an email, because eventually, right, that's a friends app. So eventually you probably want to connect with your friends at one stage, right? So right after you sign up, then we'll take you to basically just ask if that's the MVP. We're not going to put a lot of features on that. So I guess like right after you sign up, we'll just ask you about like, hey, what kind of trip are you planning? So we'll have a we'll have kind of just a quick questionnaire. Let me think about this. So the structure could be just for one trip, or the structure could be, like have multiple trip plans, or you can check your history. So there's a lot of things that we can do. But after you quick sign up, maybe we have like a quick like tutorial screen. Usually that's what apps will have. Tutorial screens, basically just like quick slides of like, that's how you can use our app, right? Like what the features that we have on our app. So tutorial screens could have like some of the features that we have on this current app. And then after you go through this, we'll bring you to the home page, right? So after you go through that, you go to the home page. And what's on the home page? On the home page, we'll probably be able to see like all of my trips that I'm planning. So my trips can be, I want to do a road trip in the USA. I want to do a road trip in Europe, right? So that will be kind of like what your planning are. It doesn't have to be right now. You don't have to make this trip right now, but you can plan like, hey, like in 2 years, I want to go to Europe, and that will be my Europe, right? So this would be like a list, list of all my trips.
Okay.
So here, assuming once when you come to the app, right, you probably don't have anything yet. So one thing that we're going to ask you to do is you will be going to create a trip, right? So because you don't have anything yet, so we'll ask you to create a trip, right? So that will be, I think, going from here to here. You create a trip. So when you're in this stage, right, like creating a trip, what kind of thing that we need from a trip? So we'll ask you kind of question to ask, right? Here, I guess, question to ask. It then become more like a, I guess like that become more like a questionnaire, right? Like, where are you gonna go? So I guess a list of questions, but just something in here would be country, right? And the planner can be really big too, right? Like if I have no idea what kind of thing I would like to see, right? So where can we plan it? So we can go from the routes where it's similar to Airbnb right now. Airbnb latest one is like they are making the whole experience a lot different than like before they're more focused on the housing, but right now they're focusing on like what do you expect to see. So they have like different type of category houses, right? I want to see like crazy UFO houses, and where can I find it in the world, right? Then we'll show all things. So I think it depends on like where do we want to go with? Like, do we want to go with, let's say, adventure, or do we want to go with just like what they have in mind, right? If I want to go check out America and plan on America, so there are different routes that we can go to, but we can just ask that as for now.
Yeah.
The countries, like for myself, right? I guess I would more focus on a place that I would like to go, right? So for example, like a country first, and then I would say like the things I would like to see, right? Like to see, and then after the things I would like to see, that maybe the time, right? Like how long do you want to stay? Right, like, because like if I say 10 different days, right, if I'm 10 days, then the plan will be totally different, right? Like there'll be like a lot more activities we can plan out, right? 10 days.
Yeah.
So how long would you like to see? What is your budget? So let's say, for example, like if I want to see nature, right, but then my budget is, I don't know, less than $1,000, right? Then the route's recommendation will not be suggesting stuff that is way too expensive. So I think that would be pretty helpful to get the budget. So for example, like if our budget is like $10,000, then maybe we can fly you over the Grand Canyon, right? So there could be a lot of things that we can adjust. So I guess like one thing that this app planner is pretty good too is, potentially we can have a lot of connections with the store, restaurants, whatever, then potentially we can get money from commission, right? Like if we recommend people through the app to those locations, then we'll get a certain commission. So that could be like one thing that we can use to monetize the whole thing, right? So what is your budget? And then eventually how many people are you going with? So if I plan a trip for like 5 people, then the whole booking and things. So I guess like it could be more questions, but like we're not gonna go way too details into getting all this informations. But like just by asking that, then we'll be able to create a plan for you, right? So next step is generating. Oh, actually, no. Because it's a road trip, right? We gotta ask like what kind of vehicle you're driving. Are you driving your own car?
Yeah.
Right, like
maybe also just dates. I don't know if that.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Like how you're like, so country thing to see, country, maybe even like before you ask the country, when are you going, right? Because like the dates is extremely important. If you're going to winter, then the whole thing will be different, right? So when are you planning to go, right? So that would be like just figuring on the dates. So you can select the range of like, hey, I'm going in like this month and that month. Yeah, when are you planning to go? How long are you planning to stay? Right, like I'm planning to go in December, or maybe instead of asking when, be a bit more specific, like months. Month. Yeah, which month are you planning to go, right? And then so if I say like December, and then I want to stay for 2 weeks, right? Then that could be it. Or in this tab, you can be a bit more specific as well. Instead of how long, you can also select exact date.
Got it. Yeah.
You can also select the exact date if you want to, but if you don't want to, just say 2 months, because I don't really have any clue exactly when I want to leave.
Yeah.
But eventually, I guess we're gonna have to route back to asking that question, because like if we're gonna book the whole thing for them too, right? That's exactly. But yeah, the country, how many people are going with, what vehicle? Do I spell it right?
LE. Yeah.
Are you driving own car or rental? I think that's a good question, because eventually, if that's an electric car, then we can have the whole planet route for electric car, right? Like when are you going to find charger and all that kind of stuff? So that would be kind of a big thing if you're driving an electric car, right? So I think these will be kind of like the most out there questions, but could be a lot more, right? But
Yeah.
we definitely don't want to. I guess like we can have maybe the top questions that are must have, but if we want to be a bit more specific, we can have like just, tell us more, but this is optional. So if you want to be really specific, right, then you can click on the tell us more kind of line, and then it will drop down another set of questions, right? But we don't want to lock people in here for too much instead of just pushing them through the flow, right? So once when you answer that, then the next step will be we will generate a travel plan. So this travel plan, once when you see a travel plan, right? Let's say I'm going to France, and then because you're going for 2 weeks, these are all the suggestions that we have, right? Like the top kind of suggestions based on your search. It could be based on Google too, right? Because one thing right now, because when I travel, like one thing that I do is I go on Google and just basically check every single site on Google. Actually, one thing that I would like to ask in here as well, like maybe this could be an optional, but like one thing that I really like is if the app can help me figure out like places that are not very touristy, right? Because like a lot of people, they don't want to travel to like all those like very popular tourist places. They want to travel like where the locals actually go, right? Then that would be a pretty cool thing. But that could be under optional, like popular versus local. Yeah, I guess just one thing that come in my mind, because like when I'm on Google, I always search for like not the most popular ones, but like Google has like the little camera icon, and then when you tap into it, then they have like a beautiful picture, right? But that's just not very popular place, because you can't get there without a car kind of thing. So we'll generate a travel plan for you, and then you can within this travel plan, you can review it, right? You can review, and then if you like it, or edit the plan. So if you like it, if you don't want to change anything, right? If you like what you see, then that's great. Then we can move forward. But if you want to change anything, you can basically kind of like a Google Trip Planner, right? You can like point different locations, but then when you added it, you can like just remove that spot. Then we'll reroute you, right? So if you do edit, so here if you go with edit routes, right? If I go, hey, I want to edit it, then user be able to edit the routes. I don't know why it's not wrapping. Yeah, so users should be able to edit the routes, so they can just drag the roads to like a different locations and stuff. But like also like review this generate travel plans. So generate travel plans should include all the locations, right? And then the travel plan should also have the like all the sites, seeing spots. I don't know why it's not lopping right now. But yeah, all the sightseeing spots with pics, hotels, estimate, budget, and then like if EV charging planner, right? So
I guess, even for gas cars, I guess if you want to have gas stations there, that's probably.
Yeah, charging planner, gas station to fill up gas. But yeah, it could be a lot work because we're asking a lot of things in here.
Yeah.
like I guess like to make people really want to take this trip, right, is like you're showing all those like crazy beautiful picture. So I assume that the whole page will be full like big pictures. That would be like where it's the most eye-catching. So we just keep scrolling this, and then you'll be like, hey, when you let's say just a very, very quick mock-up, right? Like you can
Yeah.
see a big image in here. So that will be like the pig. This will be a beautiful picture. And then this will be like second spot is will be like, let me just put it in here. That would be the pig. And then down below here will be your routes. So just imagine like when you're driving, like traveling like that, traveling like that, and then when you get to imagine, just imagine this is your map, right? When you get to like this little circle spot, I'm just thinking in my head right now. When you get to this certain spot, and then you know that you have another beautiful picture. So it's just like beautiful picture over beautiful picture. And then on top of this route, we can have like, you know, like gas station charge here, whatever, right? Then as you keep scrolling. So in your mind, right, you already have like, okay, starting from here, then we're just gonna see this beautiful picture. When I drive a little bit more, another beautiful picture that I'm gonna see. So, and at the end of the page, right, you will just like, hey, I like it. You know, if I don't like it, I can edit it. If I add it, it will be, this will be a list. Yeah, if I go edit, this will be all the sightseeing spots. Because like, honestly, I feel like if people are gonna edit it, right, they wouldn't care about like editing a EV station. Most of the time they're editing the sites that I don't want to see this, right? Then we'll just reroute all those like, you know, boring stuff. We'll just show, you know, what is the most interesting part, right? Most interesting is, you know, the site to see, right? So like the boring part, like the EV stuff, we're definitely gonna happy to figure out, and all this like, you know, hotel planning. Maybe we can show the hotels as well, right? But I guess like to make it easier, the top part to add it will be like all the sightseeing spot, right? If you go with that route. Yeah, so I guess I'm just gonna link it down below here. All the sightseeing spot that we can add it. But that would be it. So if you like it, right? Like it or not, if you do like it, like, and then yeah, usually I will do like some fancy stuff, but yeah, we don't really have a lot of time. So if I like it, then the next one will be asking, let me see if I don't know why this auto layout is not working in here, but if I, yeah, there we go. So if I like it, the app would ask if they want us to book hotels for them, right? So you'll be connecting all the hotels, and then of course hotel has some like good stuff. Right? Why do I want you to book hotels, right? Because like we have connection with them, right? So you can get discounts if you book through us, right? So that would be it, right? Like, but if not, right, if you don't want it, I mean, it's like optional, right? If we don't want to book through us, then it's fine. People can like skip it, right? If they don't like it, I don't want you to book anything for me. They can skip it. And once when they skip, right, I think like that whole thing will be saved. Saved. So once when you're saved, right, basically, I think we're definitely have to organize this. But once you're saved, I think it will just basically bring you all the way back to the home page now. So once when you save, I'm just going to keep expanding it. Eventually, we can make it pretty. But once when you save, right, then we'll bring you back to the home page. And now on your home page, actually, after you save, or ask to share your plan with friends, right? Then if you sign up with Facebook, if you sign up with Google, that's a lot easier for you to share, because really have your social media, right? Or you can share it with your friends, so either through email or Facebook or Twitter, whatever, right? Social media account, you can like share this, like, hey, I plan this route, right? Like,
Yeah.
what do you think about that? Like, do you like it, right? So you can
Yeah.
share it online with your friends. And then once when you do that, after you've done that, then it will take you back to your home. So now in your home, you will be able to see like a trip created, right? So that would be, I have a trip now, right? So I can always go back, like when I'm planning this travel now, I can always go back to this trip and see that, this is what I have, planned before, my routes,
Yeah.
my dates and all that. So it doesn't have to be go now, because like if I didn't set the dates, right, it could be like just a December time, Christmas, right? I want to go there. So when I want to remake it, I can always go back here and just make the trip. So I guess like that would be basic MVP. Of course, like this stuff can be a lot crazier from here.
So I had one question. Given that this is something that you're planning a road trip with your friends, what criteria are you using to decide, whether you want to just be able to share a plan that you come up with your friends externally, or whether to have that sharing capability be internal and your friends are able to kind of join your trip, for example? What's your decision making criteria there?
Yeah, interesting. So like for the most part, if I'm just the first person planning it, and then my friend will be able to edit it, I guess like there should definitely be, like just back in this homepage, right? Like homepage, I can just say that, actually, you know what? If I share with my friend personally, somewhere around here, I guess, if I say how many people are you going with, maybe just maybe, right? So this sharing is not adding people to your group, but like if you select like I'm going with 2 people, I guess like we may want to have another step in here to just like enter email of the other people, and then within that we will have the option to let friends edit the routes, right? But that is an option, right? Like when I share it, I can check like this box that my friend can also edit it if they want to, right? But then they're not going to be able to do that after I finish the whole thing and save. But once when they save, right, like my friend would get notifications and like, hey, so and so added you to be in this trip together, so what do you think about this plan? So they can lock in the app. Of course, like if they don't have the app, download the app, use the app, log in and see like the whole thing, right? So I can be like, wow, okay, so that's great, but I don't like this spot, and then I can just quickly going in and edit it. But yeah, like created, you can always go back and edit that trip as well, because you see a trip here right now. But yeah, that would be the most part. And of course, right, like on your homepage, I think like just normal stuff, right? You have your home, and then you have your settings, you have your notification, right? That would be the typical stuff. Setting would be just like, my password, like where my social media account will be. Notification is, hey, you selected before you selected a trip back in December. Are you still planning to make the trip? And the whole kind of remind you about the trip, and or your friends, right? Hey, your friends added the trip. Then look at the new kind of like trip planner, right? So I think that would be so that would be all the benefits. I guess like for me, if there's an app that can help me to generate all of these informations, normally I'll be routing the whole thing myself on Google Map, but that would take a long time, just trying to figure out like what those things would be, and then like the driving and all that. But yeah, one thing too, like here one thing very important too, because this is road trip, right? Maybe we need to ask people like how many hours can you drive day? Because like it's a road trip, right? Like some people can drive, like I don't mind driving like 5 hours per day, right? Then you can stretch the trip to be a lot longer. But if I only care about driving like 2 hours, right, then my trip will definitely be a lot shorter if it's like a 2 weeks time span, right? But yeah, if I can see like all that just generated from the internet without me just trying to pick everything and reroute everything myself, I think it would be a lot time saver, and that would be because like I just have to answer all this, and then boom, there'll be suggested routes, right? So that would be very good.
Yeah, that would be pretty beautiful. I want to use this now.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
that is usually like what I would go through with potentially given the questions like that and just trying to think through from different perspective and how people are
Yeah.
going to be using it. So this one, we have like sometimes right some app will have like two sides. So like the user side and then for example marketplace where you have like one side of people, the buyer, the seller, and then you have to think
Hmm.
from the buyer perspective, seller perspective. But this app is just only the users. You may be able to
Hmm.
have friends, but like it's more like single direction, not like
Yeah.
multiple directions. So this is a bit more straightforward, but like that is kind of the brainstorming session that I would usually have with a potential job.
Got it. Yeah. That's fantastic. Do you have any other tips that you'd like to give people who encounter questions like this?
Um, yeah, I would say a lot of these is really life experience. Sometimes it's pretty hard. Like if I'm given questions that I have no idea about, right? Like I have taken on projects that are like asking me about cybersecurity, right? I just have
Yeah.
really nothing, like no knowledge about that, or like some like backend. If I'm working with like a software that is focused up for backend developer, right? Like some of those like training data sets and stuff, right? Like I
Mm.
really would have no idea what it is about, and that is really relying on like how much you really know about that a certain thing. But if
Yeah.
you have if you come up with the questions that you really don't understand, then you just have to be a lot more just asking questions, right? Because you can get a lot more information by just asking like how people are supposed to be using it. Of course
Mm.
you, right? Like an employer, they look at your background, they already know if you have experience in this kind of fields, right? But like your job as a designer is not really to understand everything, but it's to ask a lot of questions so that you can educate yourself to be able
Hmm.
to design for the other clients, right? For the users. So I guess like asking question is what they are trying to get out of you, right? Just asking a lot of questions and just educate yourself in that topic. And then eventually, because that is your user behavior, right? And that is why I'm designing something like that to match that, right? So it's all
Yeah.
about like asking a lot of questions and just figuring out the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be kind of like how my approach going to doing this kind of brainstorming. Of course, like this is pretty like rough because usually I'll be able to align this chart a little bit better and draw like those lines here and there. But it's
That's
just like
fine.
all in my mind. It would be a lot easier to bring everything out up front like that. So eventually you can just connect all the dots. But connecting dots
Yeah.
is not the most important thing. The most important thing is having all of your idea up top there and just explaining in a way where people can understand. So that
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
be kind of what the most important, I think.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Caleb. This was fantastic. It's a treasure trove of information for people who are watching. And I hope people find this useful. Thank you so much, and thanks for your time. Good luck with
Yeah,
all your
definitely.
interviews.
Yeah, happy to chat. Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons below to let us know that this video is valuable for you. And of course, check out hundreds more videos just like this at tryexponent.com. Thanks for watching and good luck on your upcoming interview.